It was the horrific Pahalgam terror attack that forced Bharat to draw the ultimate line. Following that brutal strike, Prime Minister Narendra Modi sent a chilling message straight to Pakistan. Khoon aur pani saath saath nahi beh sakte. Blood and water cannot flow together. True to those words, India held the 1960 Indus Waters Treaty in abeyance. Islamabad is now, of course, feeling the heat. After decades of bleeding India by 1,000 cuts, after decades of sponsoring cross-border terror, Pakistan has finally been hit where it hurts the most. Nearly a year after India choked the flow of the Indus waters, exercising our absolute right over our resource, Pakistan is officially gasping for breath. The taps are running dry, the fields are parched, and guess what? The familiar old script of arrogance has collapsed into utter desperation. And this isn't diplomacy anymore. This is begging bold diplomacy. Pakistan is literally begging India to come to the negotiating table. They want a dialogue, they want a discussion, because they know they cannot survive without Bharat's water. But New Delhi's stand remains absolutely rock solid, crystal clear and uncompromising that terror and talks cannot go together, that blood and water cannot flow together. A group of 117 prominent citizens, so-called prominent citizens, there are some significant political figures as well, who've issued under Centre for Peace and Progress open letter to Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Shehbaz Sharif. Over 100 voices, including several Indian political leaders, are now batting for dialogue. So while Pakistan feels the heat, feels the squeeze, the familiar internal ecosystem right here in India has suddenly swung into action to save Islamabad's skin. They are crying for peace. They are demanding the restoration of full diplomatic relations. Let me in fact take you through the list who all are on that list as far as the Indian side is concerned. Farooq Abdullah, the chief of the National Conference. You have PDP chief Mehbooba Mufti, Manishankar Iyer, Congress leader, Manoj Jha, RJD MP, Jabhar Sarkar, ex-Rajya Sabha MP, Mirwaiz Umar Farooq, Kashmiri leader. Mehbooba Mufti, in fact, also spoke to Times Now on this particular issue. Let's listen into what she had to say. We'll play out that reaction coming in from Mehbooba Mufti, who of course is welcoming this particular move. Mehbooba Mufti says that there should be restoration of diplomatic ties, full restoration of diplomatic ties between both the countries, and dialogue needs to resume. That's her stand. Listen in.
Well, PDP's agenda has always been that Jammu Kashmir, which has become a bone of contention between our country and Pakistan, has to become a bridge between the two sides. And I'm happy that, RSS senior leadership like Hosbole and then Mohan Bhagwat, they have also endorsed this stand that, there has to be a dialogue between the two sides. There has to be, exchange of people between the two sides. Negotiations should happen. So this is not something new that PDP is talking about. Even SAARC is being held hostage to the animosity between the two countries. I don't think there is anything wrong, if you open Jammu Kashmir from all the sides on LOC, on LAC with China, it will be a bridge, not between India and Pakistan.
Now, alongside the begging comes the desperate rants as well. Pakistan's former Foreign Minister Hina Rabbani Khan is having a complete meltdown at a seminar in Islamabad. She is lecturing India on international law, saying treaties are global public goods. She says, and I quote, "Our water today, others tomorrow." Listen in.
So this I read many years back, and I was like, after this, which country which wants to still function in the world as not a rogue state, but as a country which deserves a seat, forget the Security Council, but even the General Assembly, would ever be able to think it can walk itself out of a treaty like this? And Article 12 says, the provisions of this treaty may from time to time be modified by a duly ratified treaty concluded for that purpose between the two governments. And this kind of answers the question that was asked also over here, that should we renegotiate a treaty?
So you heard Hina Rabbani. Now Bilawal Bhutto has also joined the chorus, desperately crying out that they want peace with dignity, not submission. Bhutto is saying that the Indus is not a weapon in India's hands, warning that any attempt to undermine their water rights will face a response. Meanwhile, the Ministry of External Affairs has taken a firm stand and dismissed reports suggesting official Indian involvement in track 2 talks with Pakistan in Colombo. Listen in.
Dozens of these kinds of events take place in dozens of places around the world on a whole variety of subjects. So There's nothing new, nothing special about these events. As far as we are concerned, these are private events organized by private parties. There's nothing official about them, as far as we are concerned. I mean, obviously, I cannot speak for the government of Pakistan, but as far as the government of India is concerned, there is no official participation, no official support or involvement in these visits. When they participate in such events, they speak for themselves. In any way, they cannot in any way represent the view of the government of India.
Let's go across to my colleague Sahil Suhail, who's getting us more details on this. So this call for resumption of dialogues and restoration of full diplomacy between India and Pakistan comes at a time when the Foreign Secretary has made it absolutely clear as far as track 2 talks are concerned, it does not have any government backing, any endorsement, and says that, this is pretty much valueless. Whoever is part of these talks, they represent themselves. As far as Indian government is concerned, it has nothing to do with track 2 talks.
There appears to be an impact ecosystem that is working on. In fact, we had seen in last weeks reports coming out, in fact, suggesting that the track to diplomacy is on, but the government of India has made it clear that these are private events. Now, the timing of this letter is very interesting. This was released yesterday and signed by the both sides, in fact, the concerned group of citizens, and released by Open, in fact, the organization that's based in New Delhi. But it was in fact released on the same day when government of Pakistan was holding what they called International Conference on Indus Waters Treaty in Jinnah Convention, Islamabad. So it's in fact interesting. It has come under public scrutiny, but government of India's stand is that talks and terror cannot go together. Well, this letter basically is demanding both sides to resume dialogue, resume talking to each other for the general good of South Asia. In fact, we spoke to PDP Chief Mehbooba Mufti, where she in fact is alleging that SARC has been held hostage because of the animosity between India and Pakistan. So there are a lot of demands that this concerned group of citizens on both sides, India and Pakistan, are in fact demanding, from resumption of talks to reopening trade, in fact, routes.
All right. So she, of course, is also backing the proposal. She's part of it, asking for resumption of dialogue between India and Pakistan. Sal, thank you for getting us those details. In fact, RSS General Secretary Dattatreya Hosbale had also, emphasized the need to keep channels of communication open, stating that doors should not be closed and that engagement through dialogue must continue. He said there should always be a window for dialogue and that constructive engagement remains important.
If the Pakistani the pinpricks it's trying to give, like in Pahalgam, etc., we have to answer wholesomely according to the situation. Because the security and self-respect of a country and a nation has to be protected, and the government of the day should take note of it and take care of it. But at the same time, we need not close the doors. We should always be ready to engage them in dialogue. That's why diplomatic relations are maintained.
Okay.
Trade and commerce goes on.
Yeah.
Visas are being given. So that we should not stop it. But because there should be a window for always for a dialogue.
Let's also quickly take a look at what the Indus Water Treaty is. It's a water sharing agreement signed in 1960, brokered by World Bank, and it governs 6 rivers in Indus Basin. India got 20% of the system's water. Pakistan got 80% of it. And this treaty, in fact, survived several wars and hostile diplomacy in the past. But it has now been put in abeyance. Why that matters to Pakistan? Because they depend on this water. It's their lifeline. It contributes 25% of Pak GDP. 80% of cultivated land relies on it. 93% of this water is used in irrigation. So it's a key water source for Karachi, Lahore and Multan. And that's the reason why Pakistan is so frustrated at this point of time. Now let's listen into what Prime Minister Narendra Modi said about the Indus Water Treaty.
भारत ने तय कर लिया है, खून और पानी एक साथ नहीं बहेंगे। अब देशवासियों को भली भांति पता चला है कि सिंधु का समझौता कितना अन्यायपूर्ण है, कितना एक तरफा है। भारत से निकलती नदियों का पानी दुश्मनों के खेत को सींच रहा है और मेरे देश के किसान, मेरे देश की धरती पानी के बिना प्यासी है। ये ऐसा समझौता था इसने पिछले 7 दशक से मेरे देश के किसानों का अकल्पनीय नुकसान किया है।
So BJP has now hit out at the ecosystem and BJP's allegation is that this ecosystem that is now proposing talks between India and Pakistan is actually shielding Pakistan. Listen in.
एक तरफ ऑपरेशन सिंदूर के माध्यम से हमने घर में घुसकर मारा आतंकियों को, एक नया नॉर्मल सेट किया, जिनका पुराना नॉर्मल था कि 26/11 के बाद कुछ मत करो, मोस्ट फेवर्ड नेशन स्टेटस दे दो। ये दिखाता है कि कैसे ये सेना विरोधी, ये चाहते हैं कि आतंकवाद पर कोई कार्रवाई ना हो। ये दरअसल सॉफ्ट कॉर्नर ऑन टेररिज्म रखते हैं और बार बार चाहे कांग्रेस हो, उनका इकोसिस्टम हो या इंडिया अलायंस हो, वो इस प्रकार की बातें करता है।
Let me in fact go across to two guests who are joining us on the broadcast. We have Saifuddin Soz, ex-Union Minister, Shahid Siddiqui, former MP, and both of them signatories of this letter that calls for dialogue between India and Pakistan. Let me first come to you, Mr. Soz. Good afternoon to both of you. Mr. Soz, every time there's a proposal for resumption of dialogue between India and Pakistan, one question that reflects sentiment on ground and that is asked is, what is in it for India to gain except for betrayal every single time? So what is it going to be this time? How different will it be?
This is a question for whom?
For you, Mr. Soz.
Oh, yes. I have a feeling that there have been wars between India and Pakistan, but ultimately both India and Pakistan had to return to the talking table, to dialogue. And dialogue and discussion is the only solution to whatever problems there are. A vast majority of Indian people, a vast majority of Pakistani people want peace between the two countries. They want normalization in respect of trade and transport and industry. That is going to happen. So my feeling is that although there are so many issues that have to be sorted out, but the format is available, that is dialogue and discussion. India is the biggest democracy of the world, and I have satisfied myself. My country wants peace and progress in South Asia, anywhere also in the world. Therefore, dialogue and discussion is necessary, and I am satisfied India wants a serious dialogue with Pakistan.
Mr. Soz, what about accountability?
For that dialogue,
what about accountability? Can anyone give a guarantee that Pakistan is going to mend its ways just because there is a proposal to have a dialogue again?
Yes. You see, I agree with you. Pakistan is accountable. But better sense will prevail. Vast majority of Pakistan people want peace with India. They know India is a very big country, the largest democratic country. There is vast space available for trade and transport and industry. And people of Pakistan, I have read many, pages in the, print, that Pakistani people, at people's level, they want to benefit from a dialogue with India. They see a situation that Pakistanis have nothing to lose.
The establishment
there is peace
the
with
establishment
India.
in Pakistan hides behind that awam. The establishment in Pakistan hides behind that Awam and works with just one agenda, single point agenda, which is to destabilize India. So yes, India is the largest democracy. Why should we every single time try to, play the role of a bigger person? What about our people? What about our safety and security? What about the terror that is imported from Pakistani soil?
Whatever you said is correct. But we can't live with the problem all the time. We have to think of solution. The solution is, you see, available at the people's level, people of Pakistan. As I told you, I am a little knowledgeable on that. So many papers in Pakistan, between the lines, suggest that Pakistan is going to greatly benefit by good relations with India. That's a compulsion for Pakistan. And therefore, dialogue and discussion is the way. And the ball sometimes...
I completely agree with you, sir. Pakistan may greatly benefit, and I want to bring in Mr. Siddiqui also into the conversation now. I agree with Mr. Soz, and I'm sure you do as well, Mr. Siddiqui, that Pakistan is going to greatly benefit, by having normal relations with India. But what is India going to gain? And several leaders in the past have tried to create and leave behind a legacy. All that we've been left with are burnt hands, because Pakistan just does not want to mend ways. And today Pakistan wants a dialogue. It's understood. It's feeling the heat because of the Indus Waters Treaty being put in abeyance. But what are we to gain? Why is it that every single time everyone expects, here in India as well, for India to compromise on its stand and go to the talking table?
Look, nobody is asking India to compromise on anything. I am not even talking about a dialogue right now. I have signed this appeal to both the prime ministers, believing that we cannot remain in the period of confrontation permanently. Even with our worst enemies, China is no friend. China has occupied a lot of our land, but we have not broken diplomatic relations with China. We have not broken trade relations with China. And I agree with Mr. Housebole. I agree with Mr. Ram Madhav, who has done this track to diplomacy in Sri Lanka with some of the Pakistani diplomats. I believe, and because this was the belief of Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee. In 2003, he asked me and Mr. Kuldeep Nayyar to go to Pakistan. We said, Pakistan is our enemy. Pakistan is sending terrorists. He said, that is all right. But at the same time, we are neighbors. And neighbors cannot remain in permanent confrontation. And therefore, we must also speak to them.
Yes, but one neighbor has the disadvantage of being the neighbor of a country that believes in exporting terror, that believes in destabilizing India. So we are at disadvantage. Yes, we cannot change the fact that Pakistan is our neighbor, but we definitely
teach them a lesson, as we have done.
Haven't we done that through Operation Sindoor and other operations carried out in the past?
Yes, but you see, we cannot close the embassies permanently. We cannot close our high commissions permanently. We cannot close our borders permanently. There are benefits to everybody. Lots of Sikhs were happy they were able to go to Kartarpur, do their, unki ibadat, they were able to do that. That has stopped. We were able to fly. I mean, today flying to Soviet Union, flying to Europe.
And I agree with you.
Much longer time.
Mr. Siddiqui, let me tell you, I agree with you. But there is one condition. But there is one condition, one and only one condition, which is that Pakistan has to give up terror. If you want talks with India, give up terror.
Pakistan has always been saying they want to give up terror, but they don't give up terror. So what do we do? Then attack Pakistan, occupy Kashmir, then go into Pakistan. Either do that, or you can't go on, for 1,000 years not having diplomatic relations with a neighbor. With Bangladesh,
again, you're putting the entire onus on India. You are again putting the entire onus on India as if it's a universal fact that everybody has to accept that Pakistan is never going to mend its ways, that Pakistan का काम ही है, वो promise करेगा हम terror रोक देंगे. I am not misleading anybody. I'm asking you questions. I'm asking you questions. Why is the onus put on India every single time? It's like a universal fact that Pakistan will never mend ways. कभी नहीं सुधरेगा. तो चलिए talking table पर आप आ जाइए.
Then have a war. Then have a war. Have a war. Yes, go on. We are simply saying war is no solution to any problem anywhere ever. But if you believe war is the solution, then go ahead. If the government believes attacking Pakistan is a solution, please go ahead.
You sir, as an Indian citizen, very clearly know how India has been operating for all these years. And आप तो मुझसे ज़्यादा experience और अनुभवी हैं, आपने ज़्यादा वक्त देखा है. ये operations भी कब किए गए? When were these operations launched against the terror launch pads in Pakistan? That's when terror attacks took place here in India.
Yes, so we should take action against them. I have always believed that organizations like Hizbul Mujahideen or all other Pakistani terrorist organizations should be totally finished. We should take action, overt action.
Absolutely, action should be taken. Action has been taken, but the reality of Pakistan today, Mr. Soz and Mr. Siddiqui, is that these terror launch pads, these terrorists, they are hand in gloves with the establishment. First of all, one would ask who actually is calling the shots in Pakistan. So why should you give any sort of concession or leeway to such a country? That's the reason why every single time there's a proposal for dialogue, questions are raised. Thank you very much, gentlemen. I'm completely out of time. Thank you for giving us your time. Thank you for speaking with us.